So we are so grateful to start this service off. We've got John Mundy here. He's giving our talk. Yay! I haven't heard John speak in a while, so that's going to be a real treat. And we have Faith Rumor back to do some fantastic, gorgeous, uplifting, inspiring music for us. And we have Christine Shaw, who is our pilot today. She is volunteering and helping us out by running the Zoom controls. Thank you, Christine. And then we have the magnificent Sarah Lehman to pray us in. And I'm going to turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you, Jennifer, and hi to everyone. Grateful and thankful to be here. So let's start with a prayer. I invite you to place your hands on your heart and with me take this deep, calming breath of love and gratitude. We are partnering up with our higher self, with our I am presence. Grateful and thankful to be here. Grateful and thankful to receive this service, and we're offering up all resistance or reluctance to be lifted and shifted by the message that is spoken today. We're letting go of everything that was occupying our mind till now, our tasks and thoughts and whatever. We're just giving it over to Spirit. And I declare that this is a healing and transformational service. So grateful and thankful to know that our speaker, John, is blessed and sharing direct insights from his heart, sharing the wisdom that he received from Spirit. Everything he says is spoken directly to our hearts and lifting and shifting all of us. So grateful and thankful to have Faith with us. She's blessed and she's blessing us with her music and lifting and shifting all of us. She gives us music full of light and love and blessings. Grateful and thankful for Jennifer to host this event with us. And I know that she is speaking from her heart. And we are receiving, grateful and thankful, all the blessings today. I know that we are healed and blessed in this service. I know that we are open to receive all the blessings, the healings, all good of God, here and now. And grateful and thankful to be open-hearted and open-minded to everything we hear. That it is a blessing and we're sharing it, of course, with everyone because we are all one. And so we're starting and letting it flow in our minds and our hearts. And so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful. We do have an international group here every Sunday, people from all over the world joining together, and that's a beautiful thing. Sarah is coming to us from Germany, where it's 9 o'clock at night there. I'm in the great state of Vermont, where it's sunny and snowy here. And we have Christine coming to us from Canada. And Faith is coming in from Los Angeles. I'm going to read her bio for you here. For those of you who don't remember her from the past because you weren't here, Faith started playing guitar when she was 10 years old and knew from then on that she wanted to have a career as a musician. She was really scared to sing, but her guitar teacher insisted that she sing along to the songs she was playing. She probably ended up playing and singing every Beatles song ever written. Faith studied music at DePaul University and then started her long career as a professional musician. She's been the music director for Agape International Sunday evening service for 15 years, and she also served as the choir director for Reverend Jesse Broom's Inspire Spiritual Community Choir, Inspired Voices. As a member of the Agape International Choir, she shared the stage with legends and greats, including Earth, Wind, and Fire, David Foster, and Carl Anderson. And she's had the pleasure to speak, to perform and share the stage with speaking icons such as Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, and Michael Beckwith. Faith loves singing so much that she began to help others learn to sing, forming her own coaching studio in LA, the Artist First Voice Studio. She's presently on staff at the AMDA Conservatory in LA, and she calls for her music heartistry. She hopes that it inspires and uplifts you. And we are so glad you're back here with us. And also Faith is an active participant in the Power of Love ministry. She has been in the Masterful Living classes for years, and we're so happy she's giving us this gift today.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. This morning prayer, my soul is calling to let my fears fall away. I need to feel your love and grace. Make my choices pure and make me your instrument. Play your songs through me. I'm alive in your symphony. I'm looking for the answer. You tell me to be still and listen inside. Just listen. Listen inside, and I surrender to the love within. Lay down my pain and feel your grace again. As I surrender, I do remember to thank you for the gift of life this day. I thank you for this day. So fill me up with your vision. Let me use your eyes to see. I want to dance through your creation and to move with no hesitation. Make my choices pure. Make me your instrument. Yes, play your song through me. I'm alive in your symphony. I'm Listen, listen inside. Just listen. Oh, listen inside. And I surrender to the love within. Lay down my pain and feel your grace again. As I surrender, I too remember to thank you for your gift of life this day. I thank you for this day. I feel you holding me. You're holding me. You're holding me. I feel you holding me. I feel you holding me.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you, Faith. Is that on one of your CDs?
It's going to be. This is my,
Okay.
everyone hold me in prayer for getting my CD recorded this year. And that is my intention to really give back what I've been given here.
Yes, thank you. Oh, that was just an absolute treat. Thank you for opening our hearts so beautifully. And now it's my pleasure to introduce John Mundy. Dr. John Mundy is an author, lecturer, publisher of Miracles Magazine, and the executive director of All Faiths Seminary International in New York City. John taught courses in philosophy and religion from 1967 to 2008 at the State University of New York. He is the author of 10 books, and his most recent book, I don't think this might be an older one, was it Eternal Life in A Course in Miracles, published by Barnes & Noble. And one of his earlier books, Living A Course in Miracles, has become a perennial bestseller and now exists in 8 languages, probably more. John met Dr. Helen Schuchman, the scribe of A Course in Miracles, in 1979, and Helen introduced John to the course and served as his counselor till she became ill in 1980. John also appears on occasion as Dr. Baba John Mundane, a stand-up philosopher, comedian, well loved in our community. So glad you're back here, John. Thanks for stopping by on a Sunday afternoon.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
All right, so now it's your turn to talk.
Right now?
Right now, John.
Okay, I don't have the order in front of me. Okay, I think what I would like to do is, if I could, you said about 25 minutes, but I think I'd like to do is take about 15 minutes and just present some basic ideas and then have 10 minutes of dialogue. Can we do that with whoever would like to ask questions? Is that a good way?
That would be a first for us doing that here, and why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I like to be in dialogue with whoever I'm talking to. I don't want to just preach, so to speak. So I just have an idea. It's an idea I've worked on before, but I think it'd be fun to share with you. There's a concept in the Course in Miracles where it talks about God's plan for salvation, GPS. I gave a talk on this in a Spanish-speaking community the other day, and I realized it didn't work. GPS doesn't translate into Spanish in the same way, but it certainly works for English. because it's nice to know that there is a plan. There is a gigantic plan, if you will. There's a plan in the universe, and it's a plan for you and me and every soul. And that includes everything that's alive, actually, to find a way back home to God again, which in terms of A Course in Miracles is a place we never left. It just looks like we did. So that's one of the reasons why, or that is the reason why, this whole experience that we're having right now is a dream world. Now, the Course in Miracles is not the first spiritual discipline to say that this is a dream world. You can find it in lots of Eastern traditions. You can find G.I. Gurdjieff, who was a Russian esoteric mystic philosopher from the late part of the 19th, early part of the 20th century, said the same thing. In fact, he said most everybody was just walking around in a kind of walking sleep, daydreaming all the time. And the Course is saying that too. What it's saying is that what we really need to do, the first thing we need to do, is to really begin to wake up, to get to the awareness of the fact that we have been sleeping. And the fact that you have been sleeping then means that we're not really fully alive, not completely participatory in this world in the way that we could be. And in that sense, we have bad dreams. Now, by bad dreams, I simply mean unpleasant things that seem to happen to us in our lives that we think that we don't have any choice over. Actually, we have choice over absolutely everything that's happening to us all the time. You all may know about Viktor Frankl, who was in Auschwitz. And he was a neurologist and psychiatrist, and he noticed that one of the things that happened in Auschwitz was that people got absolutely everything taken away from them. Their clothes, their identity, their titles, whatever it was they might have had, but there was one thing that they could not take away from them. The only thing that could not be taken away from someone was their ability to decide how they were going to see what was going on and how they were going to respond to the world. We are always in the same position. We always can decide how we're going to see. So one of the basic principles of the Course in Miracles, as you may very well know, is that it says that projection makes perception. So the world we see is literally what we make it. So if we're not finding it very pleasant, then we may be wanting to think a little bit about what it is that we are seeing. There are actually two different kinds of projections, that is, ways that we can see the world. One form of projection is that we see problems and difficulties, and there's a lot of things to complain about, things that we want to attack, and all we're caught up in our belief systems, and we're antagonistic against the world. But then there's another way of seeing the world, which is to see it the way Jesus saw it, which is simply through the process of extending our love at all times and in all places. I love the definition of Jesus, which appears in the Course in Miracles. Some of you may be very much aware of this. The definition of Jesus in the Manual for Teachers says, Jesus was a man who saw the face of Christ in all of his brothers and sisters and remembered God. So how did he remember God? He remembered God by seeing the face of Christ in all of his brothers and sisters. So you are the Christ, I'm the Christ, we're all the Christ, but we only become aware of the fact that we are the Christ by seeing the Christ. So the Course says the most basic law there is in the universe is the law of cause and effect. So what we send out comes back our way. That's the kind of karmic principle that's always operative at all times, in all places, and everything that's going on. So what the Course is calling upon us to do is to engage in a reversal in thinking, to reverse our thinking so that whether projecting something that we really don't want to be seeing, that's the ego mind that's doing that. We want to be projecting something that we do want to see, which is each other as the loveliness that we already are. So it's perfectly possible to make that switch. It takes a little bit of work, though. That's why we've got this big book with all of these 365 lessons in it, and we have to study it, and it takes time. And the Course in Miracles says you are highly undisciplined, and you don't carefully enough, monitor your mind. So we've got to begin to start to do the work. And this is the Course in Miracles is important for several reasons. One of the reasons is, as compared with other spiritual disciplines, and this is not to put down any other spiritual discipline, you know, whatever path you take, the Course says there are many thousands of pathways back to God again, and they all work. But they all work in good part to the degree to which we are willing to apply ourselves to actually doing what, in this case, the Course is asking us to do. And it's asking us to begin to learn how to see things differently. And as you know, the main mechanism for doing that is forgiveness. So we are forgiving not only what we're seeing out there, but forgiving ourselves also for projecting what we're seeing. And then we're learning how to project another view it altogether. I've often said that I think one of the ways you'll find that the Course is working for you is that what should happen, and this is a lovely thing to have happen, what should happen is as you're engaging in this process, you find that you're simply becoming more and more and more aware, and more and more and more aware, and more and more and more aware. And as that happens, you find you're not going to fall into insanity. You're not going to fall back into that kind of projective thing that's seeing problems. One of the basic things I think that we can say about the Course is, well, let's talk first just a second about the way the ego uses the body. All right, so the Course says the way the ego uses the body, and it's easy to remember because it uses it as an app, A-P-P. So A stands for P and P. Sorry, A. We use the body for attack, and we are really good at attack. We know a lot about attack. We attack with our tongue, we attack with writing, we attack physically. If you attack physically, I mean, you really got down to a pretty low level, right? But any level of attack is a misperception. Our job is to remember loving the world, not attack it, right? Then the Course says the P. The first P is for pleasure. Now, there's nothing wrong with pleasure, but, and the but is, it's something that we easily overdo. Keep in mind, the basic teaching of the Course is you're not a body. I'm not a body, I am free, I am still as God created me. And it's really trying to, that's the most repeated phrase in the whole Course. It's really trying to hammer home that idea, I'm not a body. This is not who I am in my eternity. It's who I am within the dream. It's who I am temporarily. That is, it's who I am in time. Time is something very different from eternity. The fact is, the Course says, the time is a vast illusion. So here we are having this dream. You're living in a body with a name and a place and an identity and maybe titles and stuff and particular kind of family and geography and all that sort of stuff. But that's only who we are within this particular context, within time. So eventually we got to transcend time. In other words, it's like waking up from the dream. So you wake up from the dream in the morning, and let's say when you're sleeping at night, you think, oh, that was just a dream. None of that stuff actually happened. None of the bad stuff happened. None of the stuff I have to worry about. That was just a dream. I can let it go. So go back to APP. So we use for pleasure. There's nothing wrong with pleasure, but if the ego likes to use the body for pleasuring itself. And the problem with that is that it can overdo the pleasure. If I overdo the pleasure, then I open myself up to an addiction. And if I got an addiction going on, a food addiction, a drinking addiction, whatever it might be, then I'm trapped again. And I feel like I can't get out of that, right? So the third P is, the second P is APP. The second P is pride. So we use the body as an instrument of pride. Look at who I am. I'm wealthy. I'm smart. I've got all kinds of degrees or whatever that kind of stuff is that's going on. And none of that is true. By saying none of that is true, I mean none of that is true in heaven. None of that is true in eternity. That's not a part of it. So the plan is actually that we're learning how to let go of the illusions so that we can become aware of the truth. And as we become aware of the truth, that makes us happy. That leads us to what the Course in Miracles calls a happy dream. And the happy dream is simply the awareness that none of what I thought was true at all. That's the Course calls actually an evil dream. The evil dream is that believing that something is real that's not real. So the happy dream is, I'm already home. I'm already home. I'm already with God. I'm already in heaven. It's right here in front of me. And it's in this child that I'm playing with. It's in this person that I'm talking to, because it's in my eyes. That, the Course in Miracles, called the vision of Christ. So the vision of Christ is seeing through the eyes of Christ. Imagine that you're Jesus, literally. By literally, I don't mean a physical being named Jesus, but you are the Christ, or if you will, the Christ mind. So when I look out upon the world through the Christ mind, then I don't mind being here. In fact, it's one of the things that Jesus, the historical Jesus, is doing on the cross. He's showing people that, look, this most horrific thing that they can do to another body, it doesn't matter, because I know that this is not who I am. I'm spirit, not a body. What Jesus is doing on the cross, he's showing us that there's no such thing as death. You can kill the body. It doesn't make any difference about killing the body, because you can't kill the spirit behind the body. That's the part that's eternal and everlasting. So the rest of it can go. Now, that doesn't mean that we want to get rid of our bodies. The body's got its own time. In fact, that's a part of the plan. There's a line in the Course in Miracles which says, this is regarding all of us in space-time, the time is decided already. One of the things I think is really fun about the Course is how the Course says there are no accidents. Chance plays no part in God's universe. Isn't there? There's no accidents. There's lines like, those who are to meet will meet. So lucky me, I got to meet Jennifer, Hadley, and Lynn Artino, and Monica, and all these good people out there, and how fun that is, right? And it's especially from when the overlaps, and so that you get to be friends with friends, and that combination. So you feel that we're all here together, and we're all here together for a purpose. That's been fun, especially in terms of all of us who constitute what we might think of as a Course in Miracles community. So the plan is simply a plan of awakening. And as we awaken, we let go. We release everything which is not true. Let me just quote you a line from a Course, and no, from the Bible, said the Course. And then I don't know where I am on time, Jennifer. I didn't notice when I started, so I'll stop after I'm going to tell this part from the Bible. So you're probably familiar with this line from the Bible. And it goes, this is Jesus in the gospel talking. Straight is the way, narrow is the gate. And it's very interesting what it leads into. Anybody know what it leads into? It leads into life. Life, right? Few there are that go therein. Now, all that means is if you ever really get it honed down to the point where all the junk and all the forgiveness is done and everything is put aside, we get down to that centered point where all that we can see is through the vision of Christ. That's where we're going. That is what is going to eventually happen for all of us. So saying that's eventually what's going to happen for all of us, I might as well be working on moving in that direction, letting go of the sloth, letting go of the stuff that I don't need. It's sort of interesting. Bill Thetford, who was Helen's cohort in production of the Course in Miracles, was a minimalist. By that I mean his philosophy of life was the less the better. And that Ken Wapnick, believe it or not, was also a minimalist. I was introduced to the Course in Ken's apartment in April of 1975. And I remember looking around in his apartment going, there's nothing here. What I meant by that, there were no knickknacks and no whatnots. There was just the most basic, simplest kind of life that he was living at that particular point. But he was very focused on the Course and doing the Course and helping the rest of us to see it. Now back to that quote from the Bible, and then I'll open for some dialogue. So straight is the way, narrow is the gate that leads into life. It's interesting. The Course in Miracles defines God as life and also love. So if God is love and God is life, the more alive you are, the more in love you are, the more in love you are, the more alive you are. And that's where we want to be. And then the second part of it, broad is the way and wide is the path that leads into destruction. Many there are that go therein. And the path of destruction is the path of the ego, because that's going to get you nowhere. It's good to know that actually, in the end, all egos implode. They have to. And they have to implode because there's no truth in them. So if there's no truth in an ego, there's no eternity in an ego. So at some point, you have to wake up to, this is what enlightenment is really. Enlightenment is the process by which we awaken to the remembrance of the truth of who we really are. And then when that happens, all that we're not disappears. So I didn't look at the clock, but let me stop and see. You can tell me where I am in terms of time. If there's anybody who would like to dialogue a little bit.
Yeah, so we've invited people to use the raise hand button if they'd like to ask John a question or dialogue with him, share their thoughts and feelings. Nobody's raising their hand yet.
Nobody. Oh, you got it, I guess. Huh?
Oh, wait, Lynn raised her hand.
All right. Hi, Lynn. You're muted, Lynn.
Yep, we got to ask her to unmute.
Okay. The host is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so good to see you, John. I love you. And I just want to thank you for being you. That's all I have to say.
And thank you for being you, my friend. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, good. Stephen's got a question. And Kathleen, who I corresponded with this morning, I think, on email.
Yeah, I asked Kathleen to unmute if she can.
Yes, hi, John.
Hi.
And hi to everybody else.
Again.
So your message today was so inspiring to me, and I called it a kick in the butt. You have given us today, more so than many days, really direct guidance. How do we keep this in our forefront when all of these other egoic thoughts are slipping in throughout the day? I'm really wanting to have some help with this, if you will.
Well, you just know that you have to. You have to if you want to be happy. That's why the Course in Miracles has the, the early lessons, like in the 20s. I want to see differently. There's this, I am determined to see differently. I am determined to see differently. I am willing to make a commitment to see differently. And I'm willing to do this in great part because I just simply don't enjoy being unhappy. In Alcoholics Anonymous, for example, when someone joins Alcoholics Anonymous, it's usually because they just get sick and tired of being, as we say, sick and tired. They just can't take it anymore. You get to that point of saying enough. The Course calls it has a phrase for it. It calls it the turning point. You get to the turning point, you say, I don't want to live this way anymore. So if I get to the point of saying that, then I start living in a different way. It takes time, it takes determination, it takes commitment. But if I got the commitment and the determination, I really want to do it, I will do it. I want to see differently, I will see differently. It's a choice. That's the most important thing. It's a choice, it's a decision. The whole of A Course in Miracles is about a decision that has to be made. That decision is that I stop looking at things through ego's eyes and I start looking through love's eyes, and it works. And I just have, if I look out and I say, I do not like what I'm seeing, well, what do I do if I don't like what I'm seeing? It doesn't mean that the outside of what is going to change, but I can change. And if I change, then everything changes. So let's say I'm looking at a screaming kid and I don't like that. Well, I can turn that around and I love this screaming kid. And I love this screaming kid, then we'll find a way. I had a funny thing. I've got a grandson who's 4 years old. I was playing with him a week or so ago. And we're playing this game where you put these little like checkers back in course across the board with a little stick. And I was just sort of dazzling, playing with him. He says, come on, Dad, Granddad, play with me. And I realized he was trying to get aggressive. So I started getting aggressive. So I hit it back. He says, now we're playing. I had to throw myself into it in order to get him to say, now we're playing. That's it. Now I'm doing what he's asking me to do. Chris?
Actually, we have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Linda asked, can John speak about the laws of chaos?
Well, sure. I don't know. The only thing I can say about this is within the brief, just a moment. So you don't want to go there. I mean, that's insanity. Why would I want to entertain insanity? Laws of chaos would include, like, think that I'm justified in my anger and in my attack thoughts. The Course in Miracles is very clear. Anger is never justified. The word is never. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't get angry. It just means if you do, what you got to do is you got to stop and you got to look at it and then think, whoa, why am I going there? And can I stop this insanity? And I can, again, turn it around and begin to go the other way. And of course, you can turn it around and go the other way. That phrase, by the way, appears twice in the Course. By the way, go the other way. Just catch it, you see it, and that's the moment you turn it around, right then and there. Right? You start to become judgmental, stop the judgment. You start to become attacked, stop the attack. Let's see what else is. Anybody else?
Chris has got her hand raised there. Chris Sanders.
Okay. You got to unmute, Chris. Just hold the space bar down.
Hi, John.
Hi.
I'm just beginning now to be able to stop myself when I'm ready to be judgmental or say something.
Right.
And the phrase I tend to think is "thy will be done," meaning, or place it on the altar. Do you have, is that what you do? I know everybody's different, but I'm just trying to come up with some quick things that would get me back to center. And the second is what was the A for in APP?
Attack. Attack. That is
Thank
a
you.
basic thing, the attack with that
Okay,
the ego
attack,
does.
pride, and pleasure.
Right. Right. So just, you don't want to go there in thought, word, or deed. Anyway, the first place to stop it is right here, where you recognize it before it gets to the tongue. You know, sometimes like you'll like almost like you're asking the tongue and the throat for permission to spit it out there.
Yeah.
Well, when you get to that point, you know, that's the point to stop before you do spit it out. Because then you spit it out and then, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chris. And Florence is asking, how does one get into this way of
Thinking? That's
to stay focused. And also, is the book, I'm sorry?
I'm only hearing part of you.
Yeah. Florence is asking, how does one get into this way of thinking? She finds it hard to stay focused. And she's also asking, does the book come in large print?
Yeah, well, that would be A. I mean, B, yes, the book does come in large print. I know you probably get one from the Foundation for Inner Peace, I think, more than any place else. And then the first part, you do it by practice. It's like, how do you learn how to play a piano? How do you learn another language? In some ways, studying the Course in Miracles is like learning to play a musical instrument, or it's like learning another language. It takes practice. Practice, practice, practice. You gotta get in there and do it. And that's why we have 365 lessons. And you do the 360, and then you get done, and I highly recommend you start it over again. Because if you do it again, you'll find it takes you much, much, much deeper than you were before, and again, and just keep going. I know it looks like a lifelong process, and in a way it is a lifelong process, but you may get to the point where you think, I really understand it deep enough, I don't have to keep doing that. Anybody else?
That is the time.
Okay, fine, good.
That's our time right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
God be with you.
All right, well, let's ride that wave of inspiration into our meditation. And I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart, turn within, And I think we can all relate to Florence and her question about how do you stay focused? How do you stay focused? I find that that is one of the biggest challenges that people ask me about. How to stay focused, how to stay attuned when so often we just want to tune out, right? We want to watch television and tune out. We want to sit and have a cup of coffee or a cigarette or whatever it is that we can just tune out the world. Well, we can tune out the world and tune in spirit. And that shift from having a difficulty staying focused, it will happen to the point where we are in love with being focused. We can make a shift from finding that being in meditation feels like being covered in honey and ants are crawling all over us. We've got a monkey chattering in our mind, and we can barely sit still, can barely stand it, can't stand it at all. We finally give up and say, oh, I need to do something productive because this is not productive. It's not fun. It's not productive. There's no part of it that feels good. I can't tell you how many times I felt that way. And we can shift that to that same kind of an energetic that you feel when something wonderful is happening and you just like 5 more minutes. Like that beautiful feeling if you're in love with your lover and you're in a warm bed on a cool morning and just want to stay there for 5 more minutes, cuddling and enjoying that connection and closeness. We can shift into having that kind of relationship with spirit. When we're in love, it's not hard to be focused on our lover. It's not hard at all. It's hard to shift our focus to something else sometimes. And we can have that kind of a relationship with spirit. One thing is required, and that's our willingness. Because that really is the natural state of our heart and our spirit, to be in love with love itself, to be in love with the infinite field of love, and to be in love with ourselves. This is our natural state, to be in a field of love, a bubble of love, a life of love. And our willingness is the one and only requirement. So in this moment, we are cultivating that willingness. In this moment, we're looking at our willingness. And the invitation is to just let it be okay. Don't make it wrong that we feel like it's too hard. We just let that be okay. Don't have to make it wrong. That it's challenging to be focused when we're studying, reading, listening to A Course in Miracles, that we find it difficult to be focused. We don't have to make that wrong. We can just let that be as it is. It's temporary. It's not a permanent state. I know when I first began meditating and I went on my first silent meditation retreat, inside my mind, there was no silence. There was just a cacophony of monkeys at the zoo. And here I was sitting in this beautiful room with about 80 other beautiful people in total silence, maybe a little bit of birds in the background. And inside my mind was just a cacophony of noise. And I said, I'm glad I'm starting here. I'm so glad I'm starting here because this will not last. My intention is strong. Spirit will guide me, lead me all the way to the quiet mind I desire. And now I can sit with so much more quiet And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I've gone from one end of the spectrum in journey to the other. I'm not at the other end of the spectrum yet, but I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the experience. Every single one of us is signed up for this life on earth for the experience of it. So let's stop labeling things bad and wrong. If we're a smoker, it's not wrong, it's not bad. If we overeat, it's not wrong, it's not bad. If we drink, if we do drugs, let's just stop making everything wrong and bad and just notice how we feel about it. In A Course in Miracles, Jesus tells us that's the way to know if we're on the road to heaven or hell, by how we feel. By how we feel. So if we don't feel focused, we can just notice it. Oh, my mind feels scattered right now. What would I like? I would like to be focused. So instead of saying, I'm not focused, I'm not focused, I'm not focused, I'm not good, I'm not good, I'm not good, I'm bad, I'm failing as a spiritual student, which is what I used to say to myself all the time. I learned to just say, it just is. It just is this way right now. It is this way right now. Right now, all I can think about is, what am I going to eat later? Right now, all I can think about is, when am I going to talk to my sweetheart next? All I can think about is, where did I leave that piece of paper I need? Okay, that's just the way it is right now. Don't have to fight with it. Don't have to make it wrong. Spirit doesn't make anything wrong. Jesus tells us in the Course, everything is neutral. Nothing is left out of that. Everything is neutral. So I'm going to invite you right now to call to mind a few things that you've been labeling as bad, that you have a willingness right here, right now, today, in this very moment, to begin to see it as neutral, particularly things about yourself that you have been labeling in some kind of negative way, shaming yourself about it, attacking yourself about it, feeling like you need to hide it, keep it a secret. Maybe you blame it on others. Let's just let Spirit show us how to make it neutral. Our willingness is required. So this is the time of cultivating the willingness to just let it be neutral. When we can let the things in this world be neutral, you know what? Our focus comes back. We get to be awake and aware of what's really going on when we stop giving everything meaning, interpretation. We just allow it to be neutral. Then we can learn what the heck is going on here. And that's a beautiful thing. So cultivating that awareness of just a few things that you've been labeling wrong, bad, stupid, whatever it is, and that you have the willingness today to let them be neutral, to let Spirit show you how neutral they are. We don't know how Spirit will show it to us. It's going to be different for each one of us, but our willingness is all that's required. And then once things are neutral, we don't have to fight them anymore. We don't have to hurt ourselves and attack ourselves by blaming and shaming. We can just let it be neutral. And that is a real kick in the pants to the ego. So let us rejoice that we can find that fulcrum. We can find that place of entry to break up the concretized mind of the ego thought system, set ourselves free, and let us set the intention to bring everybody with us, that anyone else who's labeled those things bad and wrong and stupid, they'll be set free too, because we were willing today. Everybody's lifted. on this tide of love. So let's ride this tide of love right into another song from our beloved Faith.
I thank you for being so real and touching me, letting me see what a beautiful world this world is, and I thank you for all that's revealed and setting me free, opening my time, blinded eyes to see my glorious possibilities. Maybe it's true, some folks can't see just what's going on. They need the proof. What a beautiful world this world is, and I thank you for showing the way and setting them free, opening our time, blinded eyes to see a wonderful reality. That's why I pray for strength to keep seeing just like this. And I can say yes, move out the way and give my God his full sway. Yes, I thank you for being so real and changing me, opening my time, blinded eyes, opening my time, blinded eyes, opening my time, blinded eyes to see like glorious possibilities. Our glorious possibilities.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I love that song so much, Faith. Thank you so much.
Seems
Thank
like
you.
perfect for this, what we are talking about today.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, beautiful. All right. Well, now we're going to do that part of the service that is a bit unique for us. Well, in the world of Sunday services and church services and that kind of thing. And that's, we're going to do our small breakouts. So we're going to break out into small groups using the technology of Zoom here. We're taking advantage of it. And this is one of the healing parts of the service. It's one of the things that really makes this service transformational. And a true celebration is you get an opportunity to talk with your breakout partners. And so here's what I'm going to ask you to talk about in your breakout. It's not a long breakout. I'm going to invite you to share those couple of things that you have labeled bad and wrong and stupid and in a negative way about your life and the way you live your life, about yourself. Maybe it's about your body or your personality, but those things that you have labeled in that negative way that you can now begin to see, you're willing to see it as neutral. And to give yourself a chance to just speak about that. It's so powerful when we use our word and our thought to really align with the divine. So this is your opportunity to do that. And I just ask that in your groups, if you don't wish to share, that is not a problem. Just listen. That's healing in and of itself. So much healing happens when we can hear other people share and open our hearts to them with compassion, as we're opening our hearts to ourselves when we do that, because there's only one. And so my invitation to you is to also see if you can make sure everybody who would like to share gets an equal chance to share. So Christine is our pilot. She is going to be here. So you'll see your breakout room button. And there you go. If you do not see a breakout room button, then look on the bottom bar. If you're on the computer, you should see breakout rooms there. Oh, did we not do the transcript? Yeah. We got it going on, good. Yep, so look on the bottom bar and see if you can find the breakout room there. You should be able to see it if you don't have it yet. If you need help, you can wave. And sometimes what happens is the Zoom is a bit glitchy, so you can just leave and come back. And leave and come back. So if you are not going to your breakout room or you can't find it, you let us know. You can put a note in the chat to Christine. She can help you. And otherwise, we are going to turn off your camera if you're staying here. And we're going to have our chat with the, what do you call them? Facebook Live people. All right. So if we turned off your camera, we can ask you, you can ask us to turn it on again, or you can turn it off yourself and then you don't have to ask us. Yeah. All right, there we go. So let's see. John is gone, so presumably he'll come back. And all right. So Kieran J, you're in the twilight there, the twilight zone. But glad you're here. Yes, there, I just, yep.
Lovely. Thank you. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, everybody. It's been so beautiful today. And I would love John to have been here to say a big thank you for him as well. Faith, your music was exquisite. It really moved me, and music doesn't really move me these days. But that did. And it's kind of part of what's come to me to share, because it was a feature of all three of you, Faith, John, and Jennifer. And you were John was talking about practice, and Jennifer was talking about devotion, and you talked about that in your mail out this morning. I saw the email this morning. Really, really beautiful dedication and devotion. So what I kind of like to bring it all together. And I heard it in faith first, because you went first, that if we practice something that we are devoted to, with our devotion to flow through it, and we practice and practice, then we give spirit such a beautiful, beautiful vehicle to work through. And that's what moved me, Faith. I just felt spirit moving through you. And it touched me deeply, deeply. And the same with you, Jennifer. All the attention you have given to forgiveness and to teaching, all of it comes together so that spirit can just flow through. There's no real resistance there at all. It's just spirit flowing through. And John, I felt the same with you. All the attention that you've given to spirituality, to A Course in Miracles, all that practice. And the result is that you can simply allow spirit to flow through and give us the beautiful, powerful talk that you did today.
Thank you, Cora.
Yeah, beautiful. And as it would happen, a very small thing happened to me this morning. And so wanting to leave encouragement to all of us to practice with devotion. For years now, one of my practices has been every time I set foot outside the door and I walk down the street, whether it's round the block for some air or going to the shops or whatever it is, getting on a train, whenever I go out into the world, the minute my foot hits outside the house, I choose it to be practice, devoted practice to seeing this world isn't real and to see that my brothers are not bodies. So day in, day out for years, I have done this. And of course, it's borne fruit, bearing fruit. And this morning, when I went for a walk, there was some kind of new fruition to this practice, when it is so spectacularly clear that this world is not real and that my brothers are not bodies. And I could feel spirit just flowing through and making use of all that practice, all just coming into alignment. So for me, it's an exquisite gift to see the three of you demonstrating that now in this service. And so I want to say to everybody listening, practice with devotion is spectacularly healing and powerful. So let's get to it. Not hard work at all, not when it's done with devotion.
No,
That's right. To have the same desire that we have when we would like a cup of coffee. That's what I say. Same determination.
Yes.
Try to find that Starbucks. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Karen J.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Thank you.
Rosalind, would you like to share?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I want to start with Sarah. You put us in the peaceful space of opening to John and to Faith and to Jennifer. So thank you. And Faith, you embody the dancing and the connection to the divine through that embodiment that you are. And we felt it today. So thank you. And, all of the pointers that John gave us, I connect to consciously today with how when we surrender, and for me, surrender is not, it used to be, and it's not anymore what it used to be. It used to be, if there was a big problem, perceived problem, then do I do it my way, or do I surrender? And what is God's will, or some kind of elaborate dreading, really, of surrender? And when Jennifer talked about the lover and being in love with love and being in love with the divine, I realized that that's what I do all day, at every moment. And it's a love of that field, a love of wanting to be the conduit for the small, for the large, for every moment. And I saw so clearly after John's talk that it connects surrendering, when one allows it, connects to every pointer from A Course in Miracles. You cannot judge what you ate and what you drank or what you smoked, or you won't attack, and you won't be in pride, and you won't be in judgment. None of those will happen when you allow surrender to lead, and then it just is. And then the next, for me, practice was not judging the surrendering, not saying, did I get it right? How did it leave me? No matter what it is, I trust that I have surrendered. And that has led, as Kiran J says, when we devote to a practice, it leads to that field that Jennifer talked about, where we're just in love with what is. And if we don't understand what it is, and it appears to be not our opinion, it still is, and I surrender to that. And that's an exciting life. That is a life worth living for me. So it's a life of love, and it surpasses the conditional experiences from the ego, those highs and lows and the dramas. It's just very fulfilling. So that's my share. Thank you.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Yes, and what a journey we're on, that we can go from one place to another and really find the peace of God in our hearts and in our minds. Thank you for that beautiful reminder. Yes. How about you, Faith? Would you like to share something?
I would love to share something today, and thank you so much for all of your beautiful, kind words and generosity and everyone here. And I did feel very, very connected to spirit today. That was my prayer, my intention as we came into. You said, what was my intention? It was to sing from my heart and really get myself out of the way. And this morning, I wanted to comment on devotion to practice. It's such a beautiful thing. This morning, I was reading about Beethoven. And Beethoven was just supremely devoted to his practice of music, of being in music. But as it turns out, he was also a really big study of spirituality, a student of spirituality. He studied the Bhagavad Gita. It was one of his texts that he poured and poured over, and designed his life as that's his dharma, was to let God move through him in his music. And that's what he did. And yes, and then in his journals, he wrote, this is not about the outcome. This is about me devoting to my practice of letting the music pour through me. And it turned out that Beethoven was in many ways, he had a very hard, difficult childhood, and he felt often in his life very troubled, had a lot of pain in his life, but he kept returning to his devotion of how he was channeling God was through his music, and how that was his beloved. That's how he connected with the beloved. And it saved him. It saved him from many days where he felt that he couldn't, maybe not go on. So this devotion to our practice of allowing that surrender in my own life, this is what I did this morning. I've been battling with my own thoughts about not being a good enough singer or not being a good enough songwriter and all of that. And that good enough thing that we've talked about. And that is, I'm letting that, the practice for me is to let that thought go. It's neutral. It's a neutral thought. It's neutral. It has no power anymore.
Yes.
Good, good.
That's so beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Fantastic. Sarah, would you like to share something? And then John, I'll give you the last word.
Oh,
Thank you, Jennifer. I just want to say thank you to everyone, to John for his inspiring words, and to Faith, to this wonderful, touching music, which I felt deeply in my heart. And thank you for the meditation and your talk, Jennifer, about practicing and about not making things wrong. And I felt reminded that I have had this sticky belief that I'm wasting my time and I'm not present enough. And here we are again with the not enough thing. And I had a realization that this is coming up in different ways. And it has nothing to do with my outer circumstances, but it's really my judgment about myself. And so I realized that I have like this thing going on to, how should I say? It was healing for me to see that I can, if I choose, entertain these thoughts no matter what's going on. So it's not a thing in my outer world and not a thing what's happening. It's my choice. And it's really wonderful and freeing to just not choose it. And I'm getting better and better. And this is something I really celebrate, because I know that my healing is the healing of everyone. And that's so, so wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. John, anything you'd like to add?
no, I didn't say earlier as much as I would like to have. Thank you, Jennifer, for doing this, for putting this ministry together. It's been, for the rest of you, it's been fun working with Jennifer the last 3 or 4 years or so, and all kinds of different. She took us out into Phoenix in 102-degree temperature, and but it was a great time to be there and to be with all the folks that were there, and what all the other aspects of ministry we've been able to share together. Thank you for doing it, Jennifer. You are dedicated. That is really, really clear.
Yeah, well, I'm dedicated because it's fun for me. It really is my joy. I was talking with one of my best friends yesterday. She lives in Greece. Her name's Gina. And I was saying, remembering how we went on vacation a few years ago together. We've taken a number of vacations together. We were on the Greek island of Santorini, and we were there for a week's vacation. And at the end of the week, I was like, okay, I'm so glad this vacation is now done and I can get back to work. Because as much fun as we had on vacation, because we did, and we loved being together, and we had wonderful food, and we just did all kinds of sightseeing and beautiful beaches and shopping and dancing and all kinds of wonderful fun things. As you might imagine, Santorini is one of the most beautiful places in the world. There's no question of that. And but I was ready to get back to being creative. And that to me is the very nature of God, is creativity.
Right.
And I just find that Spirit is just alive with creativity. And I'm always interested in what can we create today? What can we bring to fruition today? What more peace, more joy, more freedom? Truly, it's interesting to me. It's exciting to me. And I sometimes say in Masterful Living in Year 1, or in Finding Freedom in my classes, I'll say, imagine if I woke you up in the morning and said, woke you up early and said, you really need to get up and get this day started, because today's going to be super challenging. You're going to learn a lot, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but you're going to learn a lot. You'll get a lot out of it by the end of the day, but it is going to be difficult, and really it will stretch you. You probably might think, No, I think I'll just sleep right through till tomorrow and come back tomorrow and see what kind of a day you've got for me tomorrow. But if Spirit could wake you up at a couple hours early and say, I got such a day for you. You're going to learn and grow so much. It's going to be challenging, but you're going to have this incredible, infinite support there. And at the end of the day, you're going to love yourself more. You're going to love your life more. It's going to be just a really breakthrough day. Then do you want to get out of bed? Do you want to throw back the covers and say, bring it on, Mother, Father, God, I am here for this. I am here for this now. I'm so excited. Thank you for offering me this opportunity, right? So that's kind of how I feel. You never know how the day is going to go. Even in COVID, where it does seem like so much sameness to the days, right? It's just which sweatpants are you going to wear today? At least in my world here in Vermont, where, I don't know what the temperature is right now, but I think it was like 8 degrees when I woke up this morning. Cool. So I'm kind of housebound for that, but still get to do Sundays with Spirit, get to shift consciousness. And my consciousness gets shifted every week just by, we come together, a group intention. We're willing to lay things down, leave them on the altar, let them go. So I'm grateful for that. Very, very grateful. And I think we're coming up. We've just got a minute or so left, maybe before the breakout ends. So if anybody would like to share something more before we close out the Facebook Live portion here. Anybody? Well, you know me. Do you want to say something, John?
No, Kieran was holding her hand up.
Oh, I can't see because the light's right in my eyes. Kieran J. Do we need to give you the, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a big thank you to John, because it was through being on your mailing list that I first found out about these Sundays with Spirit, because you talked at this service getting on for a year ago, not quite a year ago. And I thought, oh, that sounds good. I'll go and listen to John and I'll see what this Sundays with Spirit is all about. And almost a year later, I think I've missed 2. I've been here every week and been invited in to the Facebook Live chat. And it's been so beautiful, such a blessing. I've learned so much, really enjoyed everyone's company. So it's lovely to be able to say a big thank you to you, John, for this, this way in.
Well, I'll second that because we love having you here every Sunday, Karen J. And it means a lot to me personally that you come. I enjoy your company so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, now it looks like people are coming back from the breakout. And how was the breakout? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. To meet some new best friends, some lovely people. We do attract the most lovely people. And I am going to invite you to place into the chat any decisions that you've made, give you this opportunity to affirm your intention to see these things with neutrality, because that is so valuable. It's so important. I was, I don't know if I was writing something recently. I was thinking about it, maybe in my daily blog. I can't remember. But how years ago I had a really, really hard breakup with a boyfriend. And we had lived together for a couple of years. And I was really bummed out. And I was just crying and crying and crying. And I got to the point where I just, this is before I became a Course in Miracles follower. I was so ready to be done with being in pain about the breakup. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know how. I truly didn't. And so my intuition was to write a letter of how grateful I was for everything in the relationship. I did that, and I actually mailed that letter to him. And I also wrote a letter of forgiveness to him, but I did not mail the forgiveness letter to him. And of course, I was forgiving myself in that forgiveness letter. And I took my letter and I took a picture of us and I don't know what else. And I burned it all down by the ocean on a rock. And then I let the tide come in and take the ashes. And I said, I'm just leaving all the sorrow and the sadness here, all the regret and all the resentment, everything that I don't need to take with me. I'm leaving it all here. I'm going to let the ocean take it. And I'm just going to walk away with my gratitude. So I did that. And then it was like a miracle. A few months later, I realized I'm not in pain anymore. When did the pain stop? Did it stop the day I wrote those letters? I don't know. I don't even know when it stopped, but I'm clear I'm not in pain anymore. I feel free now. And so I've learned the power of being able to write things down, to state them. I think it's helped so much when you can have prayerful, non-judgmental partners in doing it. And but even if all you have is the ocean is plenty. And so I encourage you to write those intentions, make those declarations in our chat. That's what it's for. All right, so we're going to make some announcements here in this moment. I got the sun. It's a rare sunny day here. It's been so gray this winter. And I'm going to make some announcements. And then Faith is going to give us another beautiful song. And then Sarah's going to give us another beautiful prayer, and we're going to go on our way. All right, so announcements. I'm getting ready to offer my Stop Playing Small retreat again. It is over the course of 2 weekends. It's 3 hours a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, over 2 weekends. And it's going to be like the last 2 weekends of April, 1st of May. And this is one of the most fun and transformational things I've done. I'm sure we've got some folks here who've done the Stop Playing Small retreat. You could put something in the chat of encouragement for people. And so you can look for that. We'll be announcing that this week. And you'll be able to sign up. It truly is profoundly transformational if you're ready to stop playing small. And I never imagined that doing a retreat online would be so fun and so successful, but boy, oh boy, it's a great way to go when it's too hard to leave your home. So, oh my gosh, that'll be great. Of course, I have a daily prayer, daily inspiration that I write this week. Also offering text messages. The text messages, you can sign up for as little as $1 one time, so practically free. It's also a great way to start a monthly tithe. You can set an amount, whatever amount you like, and you can get those text messages. But you can also tithe monthly without getting text messages or one time. And of course, you know, I have my podcast, my weekly podcast for A Course in Miracles. And John has been on my podcast a number of times. Kieran J has been on the podcast. It's a pure A Course in Miracles podcast. And we're coming up on, I think, 490 episodes. So it's been many years. And Ken Wapnick, I think, was my second guest. You mentioned Ken earlier. So you can get that through the Course in Miracles archive podcast. So I'm not sure if I have any other announcements. I think that's it for right now. And I am going to turn it over and see, John, do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot going on as well. Next Sunday, by the way, I also have the second and fourth Sundays. not every Sunday. And next Sunday I have Marianne Williamson coming on with me. And that is at 1 to 2:30, so that you could then have a half hour to get something to eat and come and join Jennifer with her service that she's got going. And then 2 weeks after that, I have Jeffrey Seibert, who manages the Foundation for A Course in Miracles out in Henderson, Nevada. He's not very well known, but he was Ken Wapnick's right-hand man in terms of production of all of Ken's books and CDs, etc. And he knows Ken better than anyone in terms of what Ken actually said. And that's going to be fun too. So, but you can still come to Jennifer at this time. Jennifer deliberately put this at 3 so that I could be at 1 so that you could fill yourself up with Course in Miracles.
That's
And I'm
great.
also teaching classes, which you can just find out on our website, miraclesmagazine.org.
I do encourage everyone to subscribe to Miracles Magazine. It's a
Mm.
great resource that John has there.
It's fun. We've been doing it for 35 years, would you believe?
Yeah,
And we're growing. That's what's interesting.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, John. And Faith, do you have any announcements before you give us some more music?
Sure. I am taking on clients for coaching right now. So I coach artists and creative professionals and all kinds of people who would like to have some coaching on that, but also singing and speaking. I was coaching both of that. So I put my my email in the chat and also my couple of my websites, and if you can always get a hold of me, and then we can go from there. And I am just so excited about being in part of this service, Jennifer. I just want to let you know it's just been amazing. Just love it.
I do want to say, just before you sing, that I've had private coaching and group coaching, singing lessons with Faith, and what a gift to give to yourself. You know, some people, they can't stand the sound of their own voice. Even if just speaking is an issue for you, Faith has coached movie stars, celebrities, and then people like, you know, she is just a loving being to spend time with. But if you don't like the sound of your voice, or you'd like to unlock your best speaking or singing voice, I really encourage you to connect with Faith.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, it's one of my real joys to do that and help people. So for our last song, you ready for that?
Yeah.
Good. I wanted to do this, My Soul Sings Out, because I know everyone loves it, and I want to invite you to sing along with me, but you'll have to mute yourself so that we don't, so that we can all sing together. All right.
My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. My soul sings out to you. Sings out to you. Oh Lord, my God, you are my strength. You carry me on your wings. You are in me, and you know my heart, and my soul sings out to you. My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. life, and you set me free. And I will love you forever and ever and ever and ever. My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. Yes, yes, my soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. Yeah, yes, yes to you. My soul sings out, yes, out to you.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So grateful. All right. So now we've got Sarah to give us that closing prayer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Faith, for this wonderful song. I sang with you. It was just gorgeous. So again, I invite you to place your hands on your heart. Grateful and thankful to partner up once again with our higher self. So grateful, so thankful to acknowledge the blessing that has occurred. We are so grateful and thankful to fully receive the healing that this service has offered us, that Spirit has offered us in this service. We are so grateful and thankful to go forward in this coming days and weeks and taking this blessing, this healing with us. And we're grateful and thankful to multiply it, to multiply the healing for us and for everyone, because we are one with all. We are going in the world in our days and shining the light of love, living from our heart, practicing with devotion, grateful and thankful to know that the willingness is all that's required. And so grateful and thankful for these blessings. We know it's done, the healing has occurred, and we're multiplying it. And we're sharing it with everyone because we're one with all. We know it's done, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you for another beautiful prayer, Sarah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this now sunny Sunday. And I'm just trying to get there we go. I feel so grateful for the blessings that we've shared today. Thank you, John. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone who has showed up. Thank you, GJ. And thank you to everyone on the staff of Power of Love Ministry, because it really does take the full entire staff to put these services on. Everyone does their part. Thank you for your donations and contributions. Mwah! Have a great week.